Hello everyone, you guys know me as Arman Sadana. I'm CEO and founder of Nexus Security. So this course is about CP hunting. This is a very short and crisp course. I'm not going to tell you how to find bugs. I'm not going to tell you how to find programs. I'm not going to tell you that okay, this bug is like this, report to this. No. There are ample of courses that are made by me, my company, which tell you how to hunt bugs. This course is just like a walkthrough for someone who is trying to find CVs, how to search through the GitHub repository, how to do the installation, what are the bottlenecks in it, and when you are hunting, what should be your mindset and how to report it. So, hope you guys would enjoy this course and don't forget to give a 5-star review as you always do on my all other courses. Hope you enjoy the course. Thank you. Alright, guys, so this is the first open source project I am planning to do the CV hunting on. It's known as Time Grid, and hope so. They have a proper Docker installation guide over here. Before going on to that, I prefer before reading the documentation, try installing that because sometime installation is not that simple, so you might get confused and stuff. So just see if you have Docker installed. Docker desktop should work properly inside your particular PC. It's a proper installation. You can see any YouTube video for that, or I would try to cover that. Right, but watching a YouTube video is pretty much good as it would be pretty straightforward. So yeah, first thing we need to do is go to a terminal, right? Or maybe PowerShell. PowerShell would be better than terminal. So if you don't know the difference between terminal and PowerShell, you should go back to the basics. So first command is right here, which says git clone time grid, and it's installing that particular repository and time grid. Then what you need to do is you need to run this command, that's composer install. It installs all the dependencies for that. If it doesn't run like that, you can do is WSL and composer install apt install composer. So there might be a little issue that first we need to make a docker, because over here they are not telling about creating a docker image first, because this command is meant to be run inside a docker. Just let me see if they have a YAML file for docker. If they don't have a YAML file, it would be a little issue for us. uh, they don't have a YAML file specifically. So get started in 10 minutes with docker image. Let's see this. Okay, so they have different docker image for that. Building an image, sudo docker, a local time grid image, running tests in your container, starting the web server. This is looking much more promising to me rather than this. So this is a proper docker image. All right, they have it inside this. So let me go one directory back. Go over here. Firstly, they have the docker files dot git clone docker files dot git cd docker files. Then they want us to run this command sudo. Okay, so this would work inside Windows subsystem Linux. WSL is very important. Now it would install everything, like it's getting that docker installation up and running, and let's wait for it to get finished. By the time it's running, you can, after it would be done, you would be able to see your things right here. See, docker files dot git. So builds are getting done, and then it would be getting shown in the containers and the images, but we need to wait for this thing to get finished. So over here they have a little warning for us that two warnings found, the user root already exists, failed to solve, did not complete. Okay, So it exited with a little errors. Now chat gpt is really good at understanding why this error popped up. So you can go to chat gpt. Arrest, don't rely much on chat gpt, it's only good in telling you what exactly went wrong. Okay, so it's only good in that. So it gave me that you just need to change your uid because already that uid persists in the system, and still the same warning. So check and modify the docker file. You can use a conditional check and skip creating a uid, modify the run instruction like this. Okay, uh it's not pretty getting up straight into use because this is causing some issues. So what we can do is we can just give this particular thing, because giving more context would help you a lot. This is a whole installation instructions, because this is the part which would get uh, a lot of time, because testing is simple, right? So building an image, we did that, we did this. So if we are running this file, it's giving an error. Now I would tell you how to properly ask them things, so you get properly tailor made results, right? So what I would do is I ran this file, I ran the third command and got this issue. Tell me how to fix this permanently, right? Then to give more context, use three backticks, and so that you tell this is the output. So but it's guessing it right that the error occur because the command is trying to create a user with add user, but the root already exists, which conflicts with existing. So edit the docker file. So open docker file in a preferred editor, locate the line, and just do this, right? And how this thing is working, what it's exactly saying is that if you go right here, you go to time grid, docker files over here, it would be somewhere, right? And this is our docker file which is uh, responsible for everything. So over this line, they're saying modify this line, run add user, disabled. So technically, to show you a difference, it's saying it's referring to the same thing. So to get the errors pretty much right, so I would say this is my docker file, modify it. This is my docker file, modify it accordingly to resolve the errors, right? And three backticks to specify from where it starts, from where it ends. So when we gave this whole context, they gave us a modified docker file to get things right away. Ideally you shouldn't do this, but as it's in a testing environment, you can rely on it a bit, because and this would help you a lot in troubleshooting errors. uh, so yeah, you can use black box AI. That's in development stuff. Black box AI is pretty much good in comparison to chat gpt, right? So copy, uh, replace this. Then if I run this particular thing over here, hopefully we don't get issues. But if we get, okay, fail to solve syntax error, can't find, it's giving a little error. So ChatGPT would be smart enough to see, okay, why this error popped up. So it would give you a fixed docker file. that okay, now the error which it's giving is fixed. You can go ahead with this particular Docker file. Let's wait for it to get working. Hmm. Let's copy this Docker file. Let's try running this again. Hopefully it shouldn't throw any errors, because ChatGPT is pretty much good at resolving these particular things. Now, when another error persists, you should give them the entire context that okay, this error is right here, fix it. Now this is just because the open source project we are trying to test is not pretty much good at giving a context on how to download this. I have worked with open source projects. They are pretty much easy to install on Docker. They don't have these issues. So that's good for open source projects to make a installation guide pretty much easy, so that whoever is testing is not facing such issues, because half of the time goes into the installation and stuff. When with the person test, everyone has a limited time span in which they test, in which way they do things. So that shouldn't be the case, right? That shouldn't be the case. It's not good. So let's say if it's resolved. If it's not, I guess we need to drop this file, because uh, being security researchers, we can't spend whole day resolving these errors again and again, because yeah, it's an error at their end that they didn't provide a stable downloading environment. So how would the people test, right? It's an issue at their end, more of like an issue at our end. Let's see what it's doing. Hopefully, by God's grace, this runs fine. But let's see. It's running, 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 running. I always like making uncut videos, because these are the exact same problems you are going to face when you would be doing all this stuff. So if I skip this, try to make myself Mr. Perfect without getting an errors, that's not exactly the case. No one is perfect. No, nothing in cybersecurity or anything goes straight away, right? You need to face errors, you need to troubleshoot these issues, and that's the part of it. So it would give me again a modified file for that particular thing, because when you edit a particular file from what's given in the initial recording, it changes a lot of things, right? It changes a lot of things. So you can't assume that okay, I edited this particular thing and it would run fine in a very first, because no, no, no. Chat GPT modified the file according to its understanding, right? You need to understand this thing, because if you change one line of code, it would change a lot of things. So I prefer for beginners, if you don't get the installation right on the very first instance, just change the project, because if you would keep changing things at the end, you won't be able to figure out that what exactly went wrong, as in this case, right? As in this case. So let's leave this project. This was a little check that what exactly you shouldn't do. I knew it very early that this is the problem with this particular project, but to show you the real side, don't fall for these things. uh, if you don't get the installation right, if there's an issue at the company's end, just change the project. That's how you're going to be effective in this particular thing. All right, guys. So this is the particular project we are going to work on. It's known as Unified Transform. I did a public search, but I didn't find much CVs onto it, and the latest version is released in 2021. I guess this might be a little outdated, but that's good for us. Why I'm saying that is because if that's outdated and there aren't much CVs, there are chances that we would find great bugs right in it. And our purpose is not to report it to them, because they don't have a valid security page right here. We would directly report it to CVE Metro organization, and they can internally talk with them and pretty much good into that. So what exactly we are going to do is, there's one great thing I liked about this particular project is that they have a proper recording that how exactly you need to set this up thing, and that's great. Okay, so firstly we would go step by step as they do, so you guys don't get confused. So if I'm right here, just let me see if the previous builds and stuff are I guessed it right. Let me delete these things because they didn't quite went well onto this. So just let me delete these. So these are the builds that went into the previous thing, which I showed that if some project is showing so much of tantrums, you should not spend a lot of time troubleshooting that issues, because on good projects things get set up at the very first time. So I go right here into PowerShell, go to the T directory and get clone. Hope you guys are liking my other courses as well, and if you are seeing this course it's really good. Okay, so we did the first thing, and next thing would be going into that particular directory. This is somewhat the basics which you would get really easily when you would do things by ONC. What they are doing is they are opening that particular thing in VS Code, but there's no requirement for that specifically. Okay, so there's no requirement for that as such, but let's see what they are doing. So create purify folder in storage app directory. So let's do that so that you don't pump into any issues. So the name is unified transform. All right, so if I go into this particular thing, I trust the authors, they are saying that create purify folder in storage app. Okay, so there might be already a folder purify, it's already in here, so we need not to install it. So next command would be cp paste. So ideally this approach is good, that you just go to this particular file and you can preview it. Just let me close these things, the black box AI and stuff. So if you are into the readme, the command is control shift v. So to get this thing in a proper format, so if you are right here, you would start getting the commands from here. If you want to follow this thing, you can follow it as it is, but there are some things which you need to follow properly, that they are starting from here. So what we are saying, that firstly we need to see that you are in that particular directory. If that's right, it's good. Okay, so we are renaming the env.example to .env file, then we are running docker compose up. This might give a little issue. Okay, it works fine, because if Windows subsystem Linux is installed, it works fine. So it's running, it's initializing all in the docker container. Then I again say installation is one of the trickiest things which is into the coding part. Rest security testings stuff like that doesn't take much of your time, and in good programs the installation is very simple because they are made in such a way. If you are getting errors again and again and again and again, that means you should not probably waste time on that, because if they are not much aware about how the installation is fucking up onto that particular thing, so they won't be much into the security side of things as well. Getting my point? So let's wait for this to get installed. It's 4 out of 12 commands are done. and it would hardly take 1 or 2 minutes more, because it's halfway through. If you can see, app 6 by 12, so halfway it's done. And VS Code is good. There's another version of VS Code which is not directly like supervised. It's known as Codium. That's relatively good if you are into Solidity and you are dealing with some information and you think that some authorities can see up to your things, so you can just use that, because there are no external reporting of that particular thing and it's done. So if you go over here, you can see there's a Docker running of a unified transform. The container is running, there is DB running, web server running, app running. This is how things work. DB is running on port 3307 3306. What's the next step? So the next step is docker execute DB. So we are executing the database, and inside this particular thing I need to write this command, which is right here, and the password, my root password, in the docker compose.yaml file. So beginners would get a lot confused at what exactly these things are. There would be a password inside this. Yeah, your MySQL root password. So this is the password name you can give it as it is. So okay, unknown database. All right. So we need to enter the database name. MySQL. If at any stage you think that you are getting lost, that video walkthrough is really good. Okay, so we are into this particular shell. All you need to do is just copy paste these commands. I am explaining you what these commands mean. So show databases is to show all the databases, then grant all on. We are granting the permissions to this particular thing. So control. Then we are flushing the privileges if there are any excessive privileges. And see, this is what good protocols look like. They have a proper documentation, and we exited this particular thing. Then we need to exit this particular shell. I have a very bad habit of hitting clear after every second thing. So then we want to go into the app thing, then running these commands, which is the composer install. It would download all the dependencies which are required to run this particular thing, and then we would link, then we would generate keys, then we would generate config, then we would link the database to this particular thing, so it works great. And that's how things works on Docker. No one is going to show you this side of things. And if I just give a normal example, that how much uh, less explode field is this. So if you go to Udemy and you write CV hunting, so hardly there would be 4 or 5 courses on CV hunting. So if you go to this course, with due respect to all courses, so it's 7.5 hours of course. What they are doing is, all what are CVs, what's bug crowd, what's showdown, what census. So there are, these are the CVs which have been disclosed by people. They are hunting for this particular CVs, but this is not something that they have, I guess. So they are hunting for the CVs which are on some programs, and they are using showdown to see if they can find that particular CVs on some targets. But it's not exactly it's my course, it's good. So it's not exactly how CVs are really hunted. See, there is no course regarding to CVs. So yeah, great. That's why you should understand that why exactly I'm showing this side of things, that there is nothing related to CVs on this, that how exactly we find CVs. I always try to address things which people miss to address onto the later side. See, if someone has found CV, we are finding that CV on some app. So we are basically trying to replicate that. Okay, this was a CV, whether we can find it on it or not. That's how it works in bug bounties. But that's not going to make you grow as a hacker if you are really trying to get your own CVs. Okay, so the key is generated successfully, then the PHP artisan right here, which is the config cache. After that, if it runs successfully, then we would run this particular thing. And if this thing runs successfully, we need to visit this, that's localhost 8080. Now it's doing, it's creating the table so that we can use this particular thing. If it runs fine, then we would head up to the documentation side of things, that hopefully it should run fine, because every installation is right, everything is working fine. It shouldn't have any issues. Now it's your first boot up, so it might take time. And see, we can log in, we can create users, and that's the sign of a good protocol. And we already have an email address. On the next video we would get into the CV hunting of this particular thing, and we would read how this thing is working, so that we know what exactly are the roles, what exactly are the privileges, how this thing works, and what exactly we need to hunt, right? Thanks guys, see you in the next one. Thank you. All right guys, so the basic problem you guys are gonna face is that you are not you won't be able to get the proxy traffic intercepted by burp suite. So what you need to do is you need to write ifconfig or ipconfig, just get your inet address or IPv4 address, just put it up here and it would be pretty much good to go. So let's start hunting, and before doing anything else I would try to do directory busting. That won't help a lot in this particular scenario, so we can skip that too. So to log in, firstly we would get that particular thing right here. Here's the email, and here would be the password. Here's the password, and intercept on password login. So here's a token going in, here's an email, here's a password, and the reference and everything seems cool. Response to this request, wait for it to get loaded. Here's the response, which says there's a JWT token right here, which tells that okay, the session is running right here. Then we are redirected to home. Let's wait for it to get started. As it's referring to a internal IP, it would be relatively a bit slow, so here's the calendar, and great. So here's the name, Hasid Mahmood, which we can see over here. If we go to change password, we can do that because it would locally change that particular thing. So if we write password and I write a single character password as a, let's see this. Here's a token, and a a it says 302 found, edit. Yeah, so it says the password must be at least of 8 characters. That's right, so there is no password policy bug right here, as it's fine with it. And then if I change this particular password, I write man at the rate 2003. Why I'm telling you this, guys, because you should know what exactly I'm testing for. I wrote this particular password where actually it should be like this, man at the rate 2003. So firstly it was password, and then this forward. It says okay, password edit. This given password, new password has appeared in a data leak. Please choose a different password. So I guess this functionality is pretty broke at this particular time. No worries. If I go ahead, there's an option to create an academic session. So there are no total teachers, nothing right here for now. So I go to academics. As it's running locally, it would be a little slow. So create a session 2025 till 2026. Create one session per academic year. Let's last created session will be considered as latest academic session. Okay. So if I click on create, it has this particular thing running where we have the session name. All right. If I take this request to repeater, I put a little colon after this, how it reacts. It says 302 found. It's redirecting this thing to academic settings, and we let this go as well. Okay, so it says current academic session is 2025-2026, which is fine. So if I go to classes, there are no classes scheduled as such. Just give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. So if I see what were the queries being running at this time, so here's an ID running. Select star from school sessions, model ID. Why I'm seeing this, to basically understand the logic. I go to academic. Then if we are right here, it would allow us to do a lot of things. So these are the sessions, like this session. There's no option to delete a session, but that's not exactly a bug. So if I there's no option to delete a session. Only use this when you want the browse data from previous sessions. So it's uh like that. So session ID is one. So if I alter it a bit, I drop this particular request, go back. If I alter it a little bit, so if I write delete, if delete method is implemented, it's taking a little time. So it says method not allowed. It says method not allowed. Okay. So if I go to options to see which methods are allowed, so it doesn't show anything. Okay. So if I do like this, I use the get method, because relatively why I'm spending some time on this. So get method is also not allowed. If I use post and session ID is one, put a colon after it. So it's redirecting to 302 found, which is something that, yeah, I am a little bit conscious about this particular thing. This could be a potential attack vector for SQL injection. So if I do like this, I open my virtual box, I run this, and if I create a session like this, I need to see if there are some restrictions on this or not. I click on create. Ideally, it should have some measure which stops me from entering values like this. If it's there's no vector which stops me from entering value like this, so it says academic session successfully created. Okay, it's treating it like a plain text. It's treating it like a plain text. So this is looking pretty promising to me because of multiple reasons that we can follow a lot of attack vectors right from here. Why I'm saying that is, if I say like, okay, underline Arman, if it works fine, so it should create an underline thing over here. Let's see how it behaves. Okay, this is properly sanitized as it's not showing like this, so fine for now. Fine for now, just. And as I said earlier, there is no option to delete a particular query. So we'll get to that, but I wanted to check for SQL injection. Firstly, I need to see if I can ping this IP from my Kali, because sometimes network settings mess up a bit. So if I can reach this particular thing, it would be really good. So it's saying packet lost, means we can't directly ping this. So if I say ping 127.0.0.1, this thing it would be able to ping, but that's not exactly what I'm looking for. Preferences, appearance, I application transparency, terminal transparency, zero background image. Actually, I wanted it to become black. So 0%. Yeah, pretty much good. So I have config according to this particular thing. They have this IP address, but I don't know how well we are going to communicate with this thing. Yeah, so there is some error with the settings of this. So network, we are using a bridged adapter. If I use internal network only, so some things might get changed. So it's not getting that option to reach this thing. No. Maybe NAT might help. No, it's not helping because the Windows thing is different than this. So yeah, so it's different. Because the thing that's running on localhost, if it's properly integrated, so localhost might get to it because let's see. No. So Kali is referring to a different thing. That's why it's creating a bit of an issue. Anyways, let's leave that. All right. So over here we have this particular thing. We have the settings right. If I go to inspect, I go to memory, storage. There's no JWT token over here. This is an issue that this should be true, but not enough for a CVE. If I go right here, open this. Okay, I'm understanding it a bit. So create session, semester name. So instead of semester name, I put this payload 6 multiplied by 6 because don't treat all endpoints like the same. So from when till when the semester is, so from 16th of till maybe August 2025, right? So if I click on create post school semester token session ID, okay, so session ID is like this, semester name, start date, fine, looks good to me. I'm understanding the application a bit, how it's behaving, how everything is working. Okay, it says 302 found, means the semester would be created, means the semester is created. If I just make it a little big, so create class semester, but we can't see semester for now. You can refer to the documentation to get hold of things properly. Current academic session, academics, and if I refer to the docs, so creating a session and creating a semester, now creating a class. Okay, so the next step is to create a class in which I say script alert alert one script tag close. Hopefully it should block this because it's pretty famous payload for testing accesses. It's loading. Class is created successfully. Okay, it's right here. Section name. That's pretty interesting. So if I write the section name like H1 class 1 and H1 close and roll number, assign them to respective, create sections for each classes and room number, assign them to respective class. Okay, so room number is 101. Click on save. Here there is session ID, section name, room, class number, class ID. So everything is in the form of some IDs. Okay, it says section creation was successful. Now semester section. Now assign. Though we created a section, it's right here. There are no teachers. There are no Teachers, there is no courses. What's the next step? Create courses. Okay. So course name is course name is BTech BTech core. Yeah, it's core. Semester assigned to class. Perfect. Click on create. Course creation was successful. So when I go to class, then the section would pop up. Then BTech. Then how to add teachers. Set attendance type attendance by section. Okay. Attendance by section, and if that's true, so attendance type by section. Post school attendance type update. A response to this request. Okay, perfect. Then if I go to these teachers, I need to go to this. There are one classes. The class is one, which is right here. It's not reflecting anything, so we can hardly assume anything. None of my payloads are working, so yeah, it's the class ID right here. If I put a colon, nothing. So add teacher. Okay, so here's the first name. Instead of this first name, I write here HTML email injection. There's a payload of image src. It's really good. We put it right here. Then the last name is Sedana. The email, which is really important. Obvious testing the password. Then this picture image. It's good. You can try it. A lot of bugs from here. For now, it's an XSS image. Ludhiana. And for anything, Ludhiana 141001, and any number, anyone, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, right? Male, Indian, Indian, right? And when you do that, click on add. Post school teacher create. It contains your photo, data, your email, and everything which is required. It should throw an error for the password if it's implemented properly. If I guess it right, it should throw an password error for the password. That it should be 8 characters long. Yeah, right. So if I write a password like this, I don't I don't know the password at the rate 2025. That's a good password, which says I don't know the password at the rate 2025. Pretty funny, right? Let's do this and see how it reacts. CV hunting is a little bit different than bug bounty. So teacher creation was successful. If I click on view teachers, it should have a photo of mine. So here goes the profile of that teacher. If you click on this, here's the view button of that teacher. Here's that image. It didn't loaded the image which we gave, right? It didn't loaded that image. I don't know why it didn't loaded, and it didn't executed this payload, which is bad. So here's a profile which says profile 2. Okay, so if I look at it a bit, so view teachers is like this. So means we can log in as a teacher now. So all I need to have is my mail and the password which we created. Right. So let's see how it's behaving. The forgot password mails thing functionality should also work. Here's an option of mails. So it's like this. Send password reset link to mail. It might not work on a locally deployed environment. Yeah, it throws an internal server error. I expected this thing. Alright. So it's like an error which pops up. Here's a request app, the controller, the user data, context debug. So it's like how it's working on the back end. But here's one thing to notice, that here I got this particular error, which it's like a salted password of me, so it's not great. So what you understood by this particular thing is that somehow if you got this particular error message, like if I click on this and it pops up an error message, we are able to see the salted password of any user right here if it's not working properly. So if I research a bit about it, so CVE salted passwords in debug page. So password information leaked. So if you look at this a bit, so vulnerability arises from debug logging functionality, such as a user creation. The debug logs capture sensitive password information. So we can get it from debug logs, but that's not exactly what I am talking about. So let's not go much into it. That wasn't which I was talking about. So if I go right here, I enter my mail. So I don't know the password. So the password goes like this: I don't know the password. Let's see how it behaves. So it gives this particular JWT token. So if you look at this, so JW, this is what is handling all the sessions. So if you look at it a bit, uh, it has a value, but it doesn't have some plain text value which you can directly edit in order to get some information. So yeah, once you're right here, can save, okay, view teachers. So here's the teachers list. You can see your own profile. But one thing you can see is like if this is your profile and you try to go to profile one, it's like you get an error, and if you get an error, this is the particular thing you are popping up, right? So if you're getting this sort of error, this is the user data, like the backend, how it's working with the email, and whether this route is publicly available or not. Let's me try doing this. Okay, it's first saying to log in, then things may go in another way. Okay, it's not allowing. Laravel cache debug, right? So if you do like this, you get an error exception at this particular point. You can try doing a lot of things from here, like the SQL injection and stuff. So let's not go on to that for now. Okay, let's go to the admin again, and now I'm getting to know that how exactly everything is working, which is good for us, so that we have a proper understanding how these things are working. Okay, you just don't directly go and do stuff, so you need to have a proper understanding how each thing is working along. So if I go to login, it would log me in, and we have classes, we have students. So if I go to academic, there might be an option to assign teacher. So this teacher is assigned to this class. To when we choose class in this section, this course, I click on save. So post teacher assign to session ID, semester, course ID, teacher ID. Okay, we have a teacher ID, right? Send this to repeater. Now we can add students too. We added teachers and students, attendance. Okay, it's pretty vast. It's pretty vast. It's a proper system. So if I go to students, I say okay, add student. So first name is like okay, choose this. Then okay, student one, to make it simple. Student one. The email enter anything, hardly matters. So I don't know the password. I'm keeping same because so that I don't need to remember different. I don't know the password at the 2025, so that it's easy for us to test. So right here in the photo, I have a little photo which is known as Lota Pixel. It doesn't load really well. Then the birth date, let me enter mine. May. Anyways, they don't use this image for any instance, so hardly matters. Blood group is A positive. Mine is B. Parents information ID card number. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6. Father's name. Fill anything. One user is enough for you to test, I guess, each functionality. Then assign to class, assign to section. Board registration number, which goes like this: script alert one, script tag close. So if I click on add, let's see how it behaves. Student creation was successful. I click go on view students. So I can see the ID card number. Here there would be a profile picture, student name, profile. It's not getting executed. It's not getting executed, so that's bad for us. Nothing of this thing got executed, which is bad. That means this thing is pretty secure. So students view profile 3, students view profile 2. Okay, 2 doesn't have this, so okay. So after doing this, what we need to do, we need to go to classes. Okay, we need to go to classes. This is the class, this is the students. If I go to attendance, this is the attendance. Okay, if I go to edit, I cannot update the picture. Okay, understanding the whole scenario properly. So these are the classes, view routine. Like what's the routine? So it says class ID 1, section ID 1. Then what's the syllabus? Courses, edit class. If we click on edit class, so it's the class name right here. Fine. So this thing is not working. So image src on error alert 1. I think it's properly sanitized, that's why it's not popping up anything. Okay. View exams, create exams. Before going to this thing, I prefer making two accounts of students to widen my research. I would say, okay, student 2, then test2 at the rate gmail.com. Password is same. I don't know the password at the rate 2025. The profile picture. This time I am using a little different profile picture than the previous time. I am uploading this SVJ file. So it says allowed extensions are this jpg dot png, right? That means this is allowed. So let's use this thing. So it's an HTML file. It's recognizing it that it's an HTML file. So it doesn't allow us to put this right there. So desktop, if I put this photo, they don't check this photo that it's not really uploaded anywhere. So then the phone number is like this. So ID card number, u ID card, u tag close. For now the application is pretty much secure. I don't think that it's gonna have something, but let's not lose hope and keep testing because bugs arise at a very low level. So we need to find things. Board registration number is 121, right? So date of birth, anything hardly matters. So we have two students account. What I'm trying to do right here is pretty much different. I would let you know what exactly I'm trying to do. So student creation is successful. Now what I wanted to see is that am I able to, okay, so let's open this particular thing. Let's open a student account right here in this particular thing and then see what we can do. So we open it right here and let's open our first account of the students. That was test at the red gmail.com, and the password, I don't know the password. So if I go right here, I click on login, response to this request. So it's running properly. I have multiple attack vectors, so I would test it one by one. Home. So we are into the first student profile, which is right here. So we can see what are the total number of students, total number of teachers, total classes, and stuff like that. So multiple things. Now first attack vector which comes up to my mind is that what if student A can mark the attendance of student B? Wouldn't that be bad? What if student 1 is able to see the profile picture of student 2? Wouldn't that be bad? Obviously it would be bad, right? So if I go right here, I go right here. Now if you go to this particular path, you go to view students, and you are able to look at their profiles a bit. Now this profile picture is loaded right here, and if you save this image, downloads jimple.com, and load it right here. Now the metadata is removed from this particular thing, that there is no metadata, which is good. That if there isn't any metadata, that means this is pretty secure. Now next thing is that if you look at this particular profile of student 1, so you have this particular thing which says student view profile 3, right? If you rerun the same thing, student profile 3, it's your own profile, which is student profile 3. What about student profile 4? It shouldn't allow, because student profile 4 is not of any concern of this particular student. Now we can see student profile 4 as well, and if you look at this particular thing, I can see almost every information about this particular student. Now here's where I guess we got our first CV, because if I go to courses, if I go to courses, I have absolutely no option to see what another students are. Right, what another students are. So this is typically an IDOR, which is indirect object references, and you can see over here I have no options to see what are the total teachers, what are total students. And see, this thing is a typical security breach, because I can see a lot of information about another students if I know this particular route, which is not hard to get. And I can see their father's name, mother's name, their number, I can see their address. Bad. So yeah, obviously it's a, so IDOR CVE. If I look out for it, missing checks, there are obvious CVs about it, and this is our first bug which we got. Now there is one thing which you should check before reporting these things, is that there are a lot of other things which we can do, but I need to see what privileges they have, what privileges they don't have. They have the teachers, so what teachers can do: take and view syllabus, message students. Okay, teachers can even message students, great. There's a lot of attack surface vector right here, but I need to see the student privileges, what they can do. Because if it's, they know about this particular thing, a student can view his her attendance, can view marks, syllabus, assignments, final results, grade, download and view, uh, just like the teachers. Okay, so there's no documentation that students can see uh, the stuff of another people, which is a little bad. So if I go to CVE meter register, so if you go right here, there's a lot of things which you can do. So feed of newly published CVs and stuff like that. So request CV IDs. So finding a CV, CNA, identify to publish CV, record, a lot of things, right? So First, for beginners, how to report a CVE. So here are different formats which you can use to how to register a CVE. So just found a vulnerability, awesome, but what next? Library maintainer. Now they don't have this particular request where I can reach out to them. Now people say that we have spotted a potentially high vulnerability. So and user enumeration has been identified. Could you please provide the best contact method to reach you? They haven't provided a contact method to reach them, right? Potential stored cross-site scripting. They are, please make a pull request with a fix if possible. So and how to contact. So it's the owner. It's with how application handle PDS file and couldn't find the code response. Can you share your email? So they didn't share their email. Okay. Now this is potentially which I am understanding that a lot of people are hunting on this. But a little thing which I notice is that they don't have proper security emails to see how exactly things are going wrong. So instances of abusing, harassing, or otherwise unacceptable behavior may be reported by contacting the project team. So here's only from here we got one mail, a readme code of conduct. There's no another thing. So if I say unify transform CVE, so they say it's uh, to a stored via file upload in the syllabus functionality. Someone got a CV for it, and that CV is pretty much recent, and that's the same CV which that person was referring to. That go to log in into the application academic section, then it's a stored CV, stored accesses. That's right, that people are hunting on it. Then there is one more CV. If you write, oh, look at here. I need to see if the CV I am referring to someone has found out or not. So it says object level access control in unified potentially earlier versions to access student grades by manipulating student IDs, endpoints, and it's like authorization bypass, and it's over here. Yeah, exactly, which I was saying that a student can view personal information of other students and teachers. So a teacher can view the student data because of functional level access. A teacher can edit student data. So over here, Hasib Mahmood has been awarded the disclosure fixed bounties now for great work. Could you please propose submit? The link below is an introduction of. So this is how they are working with the team. So tell us about a vulnerability. It's important to support your repos. That's why our bug bounty rewards. Okay, so if I go right here, I tell them the GitHub repository bounties page. Okay, so they have unified. I guess they non-listed themselves. Transform. So yeah, they non-listed themselves. So by using this method, we know CVs are available. But why I'm not hunting on this more? Because as far as of my current understanding, it's been hunted a lot because people already have CVs for it, pretty much recent CVs, and yeah, I can see that without proper authorization and there's an it's not that particular thing. So yeah, that's how you can see what CVs are published, whether your CV would be right in here or not. And the file upload is pretty much fine. If you look at it, it's only awarded for this file upload. No another CV is uploaded. So if you go to GHDB, GHDB, if you search for a particular thing, quick search, its name is unified. There's no match. So if you give a particular CV ID, that they are saying they didn't show results for it, but it's publicly disclosed by nvd.nest, and these are the references. And it's pretty recent, it's not like very much at later stages, it's pretty much recent. So what we can do is just see how things are being reported. So look for a email to address this issue. I bloody hard to get all the vulnerabilities that I found, but learn from. I reached out like 10 times to some of the library maintainer, never turns out to def early reply to me within first week or never. Okay, so it's like reach out to project maintainers, but state early on that you will publish the vulnerability after 90 days, regardless of whether the library is fixed or not. Trust me, doing this will save you a lot from frustration. Okay, cool, but how to request a CVE? Fine. Report the vulnerability to Mitra around a week after reaching out to a library because it may take a lot of time. Note that you don't have to wait for vulnerability to fix. Requesting a CV doesn't mean it gets published yet. You can request a CV using this form. Okay, so please choose an action. Report vulnerability, request CV ID, enter email address where you can reach. That's fine. Then number of vulnerabilities requested. Vulnerability type. It's incorrect access control. Vendors of the product. So it's right here. So has the vendor confirmed? No. Attack type. It's remote. It's information disclosure. Affected components are the whole websites on the all the users of the website are at risk due to improper access controls. Right. And what exactly is going wrong? You just need this particular URL. Just log in as student account. Modify the URL. Keep changing the ID number and it would leak PII of all users. IDOR due to lack of access controls. References, there are no references. MCHH, so submit request. Please ensure. Okay, so the version is 2.x v 2.x. So yeah, what's the next thing? Before, you should check whether the affected vendor is a CNA. Okay, so CVE ID. Unified. We can see if they have unified transform. So they already have 4 CVEs, so it's a little easy for us to see what exactly. So this person has 4 CVs. Let me have a look at it. So potentially a malicious user can view grades of other students by manipulating student IDs. This is CV1. So multiple access controls, early versions allow unauthorized access to personal information of students and teachers. List viewing endpoint subject level. So this is the exact scenario which we hunted. So it's bad that we got a duplicate. So a functional level access allows attackers to allow teachers to modify student perform without proper authorization. That's bad even. Right. So we know that there are 4 particular CVs which are already registered. So we need to hunt apart from these things in order to get a hold of things. So see you in the next one, guys. Thank you. So in the previous video we saw that there are 4 CVs for that, so we need to hunt apart from that. So I would be a little quick this time so that we get across things really quick and we widen our attack surface area and get the CVs registered. So this time I won't be throwing up random injections. I would be quickly creating proper sessions, proper names, so that we can find bugs straight away. So once a session is created, we need to create a semester. Let's wait for the session to get created. Session is created. That's great. So here's the session, then the semester name. So it's sem1. Starts from 17th till 6 months. So 7th it would be like July, and 17th. Create this thing. Then we need to create a class, maybe class 10th. So class 10th, create. Then we would create a section. Section name would be section A. In our school it would be like this. So for class 10th it's like 10A, right? That's the class name. So yeah, it's 10A. Then create course name. Course name is it's known as secondary education, assigned to class 10th. It's core. Create. Then we need to create teachers before that. Then after creating teachers, then only we can assign the teachers. So for demonstration purposes I am creating two teachers, so we can give that to different classes and sections and follow proper hierarchical structure. So teacher name is teacher 1, email is teacher 1 at the rate gmail.com for demonstration purposes, and the password would be, I don't know the password, at the rate 2025. Trust me guys, we would get a CV for sure out of this thing. And browser file that we are trying to upload. Now this file contains, it's me when I was small, so it's me. And enter anything right here, it hardly matters. Now this particular thing, this photo has a hidden command injection in it. So it's male, the female teacher, and the nationality is Indian. So let me add it. So give me a second guys. Alright guys, so we created this particular teacher, and then let's create a teacher 2 for proper. So teacher 2 at the rate gmail.com. Why I'm creating names like this? So that I easily remember everything, and it's a good practice. And this time, instead of this image, this image didn't work quite well. So let me see what else I can put it into this. So if I go right here, SVG files are not accepted. So let's try putting this. It won't work, but let's do it. Then city, anything, then the phone number, then it's male, Indian. Now for a reference I would create two students as well. So we created a teacher 2 as well. So then go to students, add student. We would create students 2 so that we have everything sorted and we can create this. So student 1, student 1 at the rate gmail.com. Password is, this thing. Let's not upload a photo as it's not necessary. Pick any random dates, anything, because it hardly makes a difference for now. So the class is 10th assigned to a section. It would take a few seconds and then we can assign to a section anything. Now we would add two students to each class for a good purpose. So one student is created, then student 2 student 2 at the rate gmail.com. This thing again, so 2010, anything. I have a lot of bugs in my mind running real quick, to be very honest. So yeah, I have a lot of things running. So firstly, I would allocate the teacher to the class, then I would move forward hunting different things, because that would make my hunt relatively easy. And trust me, I would get a lot of CVs out of this thing. So yeah, academic, and then teacher 1. Okay, we have two teachers, teacher 1, Sam 1, class 10th, section 1, secondary education, safe. Now let's first test things on the perspective of a teacher. So what I would do, I have two sections. I have semester. Now let me create a new section. Okay. So section B, room number would be 10. B, as we created earlier, 10. B, save. Then I would assign this teacher 2 to 10th, but the section would be different. I'm making different attack scenarios in my mind so that I can see things really easily. Alright, so if I go over here, I have classes right here. I have two sections, section A, section B. If I click on edit, so it says section 1 edit. That's fine. So I can change things over here, but before going on to that perspective, I need to go right here to understand how teacher access is working. You need to go hand in hand to understand such concepts. So login, teacher1 at the rate gmail.com. The password is right here. Login. Now if you look at the documentation of this particular thing, teachers should not have access to any sort of changing the classes, view syllabus, create assignment. So they don't have any option to change the name of the section. So if I look at, I use this API, it should not show me this. Okay, so it's bad. So the teachers should not be able, so from this page teacher can do following: take view attendance, view syllabus, create a view assessment, assignment, give marks, message students. So here there was no functionality where a teacher can edit the name of their class. uh, that's bad. So yeah, with that being said, it's a privilege escalation, so where a teacher can say section A is like hacked. Save. So if that works fine, if this gets saved, here it would be successful where it says section A hacked. Yeah. So they don't have this permission. So to make it easy, what I would do, I would hunt everything and then at the last I would request for CVE IDs. So if I do like this, uh, bug one, bug one is a privilege privilege escalation leads to change of section name and room number by teachers. Now the POC, that steps: login as teacher, browse to this end point, change the names and click on save. Impact: can create a lot of mess because these roles should only be available with admin, right? So these roles should only be available till admin. So I write CVE findings dot txt file to just to save it, right? And one more thing, we can assume that the teacher one can only edit his section, but using this particular section thing, we can edit anything. So we can write broken access control leads to privilege escalation, uh, allowing change of section name. So that's a good approach, guys, so that you can first find all the bugs and that at the end we can request the CVE ID. So this is the first bug we spotted. The second bug, you go to the dashboard right here, you see teacher one, that's fine. You go to students, you can see the students of your own class, you can see their attendance, you can see their pictures. Please select class 10th, load list. So basically teachers can access the list of any class. As far as I am understanding, that teachers can fetch the list of any section and any students. So if I write class 10th, load list, It's right here. So we are assuming we have two students. I can click on view profile. I can view the student's profile. That's fine. Can I edit it? It's something which you should see, that teachers should not be able to edit the profile of students, but I would try doing that. So view students, if we are viewing this as admin, so let's see. If we are viewing this as admin, we would see an a different option where we can edit it. So I click on edit. It says student edit for. That means if I use this endpoint, so student, it's view. Ideally the teachers cannot change the data of students, but yeah, this functionality is protected, that we cannot do this. This might be due to this particular thing. Students edit for, it should show me the endpoint. So here's the data of students. Now if you look at CVE Mitre register, if you search for this particular thing and right over here unified transform, there are these four bugs. If I leave this cross-site scripting bug, here's an object access level control, that a malicious users can view grades of another student by manipulating the student IDs. Okay, this is for the grades. Then access to personal information of a malicious student, can access personal information of students and teachers through these vulnerabilities. That's fine. Then potentially earlier version allows teachers to modify student personal data without proper authorization. The vulnerability exists due to missing. So this is the bug which we have found just now, that they can edit the students data. Okay, so we got this. Second thing, if I click on view teachers, can we see teachers? Okay, we can see teachers. This is me when I was small, right? There's an XSS image, it's not popping up any payload, and over here we don't have any option to edit the teachers. And in that bug, they didn't define that a person can edit this particular thing. So if it's like we open it normally in here, we can edit any teacher. So let's take teacher 2, so it would be like teachers edit it. The URL would be like this, because I have understood the methodology how this particular person had changed this particular thing. So if I go over here, I would write teachers edit 3, means this teacher 2 would be the edit 3. Let's see if this route is available, and it's available. We can change this particular thing. Okay, so it's like the same thing, a bit of a same thing. Bug 2 broken list leads to privilege escalation, allowing the change, allowing updation of data of fellow teachers. Log in as a teacher, browse to this endpoint, change the name, change the details, and click on save. The root cause is pretty much same, so it depends upon how they would allocate the CVs to us. Then moving along, I would test the add teacher functionality. Can we add a teacher being a normal person? So if I add this endpoint teacher add, now if I look at this particular thing, I cannot add the teachers as well as I cannot add the students. But if I go like here, teachers add, So I can add the teachers as well. But don't go on this front end perspective. Try adding a teacher. Only then you can come to conclusion, because sometimes this page is visible but it doesn't work. So teacher3 at the rate gmail.com. The password would be, I don't know the password. Anything would work, guys, as I already told you. There are female teachers. Add. Sometimes there's a front end artifact, but you can't add. See, this action is unauthorized, that you cannot add a teacher. If you go over here, students, add. Just try adding a student, because as far as I have understand, it should stop us. So student 3, because it's a front end artifact, that doesn't mean it would really allow us doing this thing. So I don't know the password. By seeing this particular thing, one thing also popped up my mind. I would check it afterwards, that the second bug which we noted down, we need to manually check as well, that it allows or not. So for now our one CV is confirmed that we are guessing it right, but another is a little bit shady. So 10th class section, I would add it to section B. Add. Most probably it should give me an access denied authorization error. If it doesn't give, it would be good for us. Yeah, so it gives me an authorization error. The second bug we reported is that we can edit teachers information. We didn't check that because we just saw this page and just jumped upon straight away. So just change a little thing, very little thing, to just confirm teacher 2 hacked. Most probably it won't be, because if a person missed this, if a person was hunting on this, he might have checked this as well. So there would be a proper restriction on this. If he by chance missed it, it's bad at his end, because he lost one CV from us. Okay, so yeah, let's see if it turns to hacked. Okay, so this is confirmed that we can edit the teachers. That's should be the option available with the admin. Now how I can turn it into an account takeover? That's the case, how I can turn this into an account takeover. Now if I look at this particular edit functionality, there's no option to edit the password. Right, there's no option to edit the password in here. So what I can try doing is that if I click on update, I manually feed a password endpoint, add and password. Just I'm testing, guys. Okay, and password is equal to, let's say anything, anything at the rate 2025. How it handles it, that does it allows the updation of passwords. In this particular request it says 302 found. If it says successfully edited, we need to see that, okay, so it says teacher update was successful. Now it gives me a whole different perspective to test that. Okay, it's saying teacher edit is successful, that means the password of teacher 2 is not the same, because either it's a front end artifact, it's saying successful, but the password at the back end is not changed. But if it's changed, it's a full account takeover. So let's see. So teacher 2 at the rate gmail.com, just to make you sure, guys. So I am writing anything at the rate 2025, so that you know what I typed in here. Login. Most probably it shouldn't allow, but if it's allowing, it would be high level bug. If it logs me in, it's a account takeover. Yeah, so it says this password didn't match with our record. So if I give my old password, if it works fine, That means it would be good. One more thing which you can observe is there could be potentially two causes for this. So if I go to an add teacher format, it takes the password endpoint. The password endpoint's name might be a little different. What I meant by that is if I create an account teacher3, so I write teacher3 at the rate gmail.com. So I gave this password in here. So if I gave in this password, the password endpoint might be a little different. The password endpoint is like this: photo address. Okay. So if I save this information, you would get to know why I'm saving this information. I save this particular thing, and ID would be created. Right. An ID would be created with an account of teacher3, which is fine. Teacher3 is created successfully. But if I look at this particular thing, now let me log in as teacher2, and I'm basically trying to, or maybe teacher1, I'm trying to escalate the impact, that how exactly we can hunt better. That's a part of the trade craft, guys. Finding bugs is something different, and escalating it is totally different. Okay. So I reported a bug that we can edit teachers. So if I go over here, uh, so that teacher name would be teachers edit 4, if I'm not wrong. So if it shows teacher 3, that then we know that okay, it's fine. What I am exactly trying to do is, okay, it's not teacher 4. What's the ID of that teacher? I need to see. Okay, view teachers. Okay, so it's teacher 3 right here. Okay, it's ID 6. We can easily enumerate that. The triager won't ask that how you are like doing this thing. So we have it right here. What I wanted to check is that on the update endpoint, what things different it has. So if I go to repeater, drop request. So if you look over here, this is the school teacher create endpoint, and it's the post school teacher update endpoint. It has a teacher ID, first name, and the password is right here. It won't work because the endpoints are a little differently integrated, so this thing won't work. So let's get to the another attack vector. Is okay, we are in the teacher one. If I go to students, okay, that's fine. My courses, let's firstly get across all the particular things which we can do as teachers. So teacher one is right here. It's loading some stuff. Okay, what we can do, I can take the attendance, I can create an assignment. Let's take the attendance. Okay, so for taking the attendance, it says okay, uh this particular things are being done where this teacher is taking the attendance of this, and everything is in the URL where it says section name secondary education. Okay, so if I go to this, I go and take attendance. So class ID is 1, section ID is 1, but if I change this section ID to 2, course ID to 1, and everything rest remains same, so I might be redirected to class 2 if I get it right. Now, so for seeing this properly, I need to uh, assign the section 2 to teacher 2. Classes is right here. So is there a teacher assigned to it? Okay, there might not be a teacher assigned. So select teacher 2, class 10th, sem 1, B. We are assigning this teacher over here using admin privileges. Then we might add a student into that class too. Students, view students. We only created 2 students for now. So if I load the list, it would be empty because in section 2 there are no students. So if there are no students, we can't take the attendance. So yeah, pretty much I'm understanding the whole format of things, and it's sounding good. If I write over here student 3, so student 3 at the rate gmail.com, and password is as it is. Your birth date is like, you can choose anything because they don't have a proper functioning that they should be of this much age, they should be of this much age. So yeah, female, let's choose Christianity. ID card number assigned to class 10th, assigned to section B, add. So once the student is created, if you look at the documentation, teacher can take attendance for a section or a course. Attendance type set by admin, right? So only teachers can take the attendance of their own classes. Teachers can view attendance, and teachers can view and download syllabus, create assessments, create exams, view created exams, edit exam rules, give marks, submit final marks, view final marks. Okay, so there is no option that where a teacher can basically change take the attendance for any another class. So that's what we are trying to tamper, that if I go to this students list, section B, load list, there would show one student. That's right. If I go right here, so I can only see my own section, which is right here. Teacher ID is 2, semester ID is 1. But what if I change the teacher ID to 3? So I can see that I have this particular section assigned to me. I go and take attendance, and I can take the attendance of student. If I click on submit, if it works, it's good. If it shows unauthorized, it won't be. Attendance saved successfully. Oh, okay, spotted third bug. Okay, so what you need to do is that if you are onto this endpoint, it's bug number 3, where Broken access leads to privilege escalation, allowing taking attendance of fellow teachers, right? Log in as a teacher, browse to this endpoint, then all you need to do is change the teacher IDs, change the teacher ID, right? uh, Click on take attendance and click on save. All right, so this is the third bug which we spotted. Now this is view attendance functionality. If I see that, okay, I can see view attendance, so of what things I can view the attendance of. So today's attendance is bad. If I say class ID is this, section ID is this, course ID is this. Now all other things are hardly a front end artifact. If I go over like section ID 2, so that section ID would be the section 2. I might be able to see that student 3 is present. Okay, I can see the student ID is present, and that's not really into their role. So lot of broken access permissions right here. But they can only view the attendance of their own courses. Okay, so bug 2, bug 3, bug 4. I don't know for now that they would club this together or not. Broken leads to allowing viewing attendance for all sections. Log in as a teacher. Now this is really a front end artifact. Why I say that is, if you just do that, it would be enough for you to reach to this page, because rest everything didn't make sense, right? See, now you would say, oh Arman, you're a magician. No, it's simple common sense that change the class ID and section ID, view all attendance of any class. Alright guys, back in the hunt. So this is the fourth bug which you can see to view the attendance of all the sections. Now if I go ahead and see another thing, so my courses section, how it behaves. My courses section, let's go into it. So sem1 course name, it okay, let's stick to one section for now, that would be better. Load list sem1. Let's see, it's loading. Okay, so take attendance, view attendance, view syllabus, create assignment. Okay, so syllabus is not yet decided. I guess it's a functionality with the admin panel that you need to create syllabus for everything. So syllabus is right here. So add syllabus class 10th, for teacher 1 it's this syllabus name. Okay, instead of syllabus name, write this particular thing. This is SSTI payload and syllabus file. Now into this syllabus file you can do multiple things. Go right here, entering a PDF would be good of XSS, all supported files. I don't know which format it's supporting or not. If I click on create, it all depends upon if I can get RC from this file or not. It allows this format or not. Multiple ifs and buts, right? Multiple when there are multiple ifs and buts, you need to be very precise of what you are doing. So only it takes PDF files, right? And if you go over here, you can see access via file upload is right here. And if you can see the reference, you need to do is get this XSS PDF right here, download this. And what's that person found out, it's the same, it's not my finding, I'm just telling you so that you get an understanding that okay, this happened. So syllabus name is like this, 7 multiplied by 7, and they uploaded a file which is the XSS PDF. Click on create, and once it's created, let's wait for it to get loaded. Okay, it's created. If I go to home, I go to syllabus. Now syllabus is created. It would pop up at the teacher's end. If I'm not wrong, it would pop up at the teacher's end, where if they click on view syllabus, this would be an XSS vector. See, but they fixed this particular version, I guess. Earlier there wasn't a download button. Now okay, they go to academic, syllabus, classes, download. See, downloading and then looking at this won't be okay. So it's stored XSS is awesome. So it's a stored XSS right here. Now you can see different vectors how you can pull this up. So stored XSS to SSRF maybe. Now the root cause remains same. Root cause remains same, but you can do a lot of things from here. Stored XSS. It's an alert right here. Now the root cause would remain same, so there's no point wasting time on this because it would be under the category as this CVE only. So no point wasting time on this. Now we had a functionality with this particular where we can create syllabus. So it would be like syllabus create. If I try now with teachers, if I look at the documentation, the teachers only have the authority to view syllabus, right? They don't have the authority to create syllabus. If we are able to create a syllabus, it would be bad. Syllabus name, what should I keep the syllabus name? Is HTML email injection. I write this payload, and syllabus file is not necessary, but it's asking for a file, so let me give the same file. Click on create. Now we are as a teacher, it should show unauthorized action, but if it doesn't show, it would be a bug. Okay, so syllabus is created. How we know that is if I go over here, I can see two syllabuses for this particular section. My courses, load list. If I go right here, view syllabus, it would show two syllabuses because two entries are created. See, but it wasn't a permission for that particular user. So it's our sixth finding. It's our sixth finding where broken access leads to proliferation, allowing teachers to create syllabus. Log in as a teacher, go to this. Now, I don't know how much of these things, because in scenarios like this, they club endpoints. But if you might have been in a bug bounty endpoint, so it would be literally a lot of bugs. Enter the fields and click on save, right? So that's great. Now, what next thing we can do is go to this courses tab and see what other things are over here. So we can create assignments. Let's go to that. Let's create an assignment. When we create an assignment, here's an assignment name, assignment 1. Now let's see what formats are allowed, what are not allowed. So if I go right here, all supported files, if I just load this particular thing and I click on create, a response to this request, it would be created. Here there would be another bug that if there are a lot of things, so most probably there would be a bug here as well. Now who can create assignments? That's the perspective which we need to look. If for different issues they have assigned different CVs, so most probably all these issues would get different CVs. Let's see. Firstly, you test everything with the teacher's perspective. View assignments. If I click on download, it didn't popped up an XSS. If I go right here, create and view assignments. Okay, that's a functionality of this particular thing. If I would upload a PDF file over here, it would be another bug, but I guess they would treat it as same because the path would remain same. But I think I should test my luck. If the path is somewhat different, we might be lucky. So create assignment. So assignment 2, browse and downloads. If the path remains same, just quickly look at the path. The path right here was storage syllabus. Okay, it says creating assignment was successful. Load list. View assignments. Storage assignments. The path is different, so we might report it as a different bug. Bug 7. You might take a reference from this. Stored accesses in assignments. Login as teacher, create a assignment and upload XSS PDF in that. Then click on view assignment under courses. Now impact could lead to account takeovers, right? Now it's up to them how they want to treat it. So bug 8, let's see. So it's fine if I go to my courses. Give marks. Now let's try giving marks to the students. Create exam to give marks. Okay, create exams. Sem 1, class 10th. Start course exam name. If I do like this, it starts tomorrow and ends on 18th. Now from here, one more attack vector came up to my mind, is that if I log in as a student should have no privileges creating exams for anything, right? So let's see, because that's how you go hand in hand. Okay, it's treating this private thing as this, so can't test that really. So just let me create this for now. Okay, I need to add time as well if I'm not wrong. Please enter valid date and time. It's valid. What's the problem with that? I guess okay. It's need to take time. Session ID, semester ID, class, exam name, start date, intercept off. We created this particular thing. If I open this right here on a normal website, it would ask me for a login. I would enter as a student. Student1 at the rate gmail.com, and you know my password is this thing. Login. Okay, so over here I can select the class and it's giving me an option of syllabus create. That means students can also create syllabus, but that is not something which I am looking for. I am looking for exam create functionality. So they have a feature. I'm just exploring create. If students can create exams too, it's bad. So yeah, this is unauthorized. It says it's unauthorized. Let's say if students can create syllabus, that should be unauthorized too. So I'm testing different things. Class 10th. As I say, don't go on these front end artifacts. Just try running that command, then only you can come to a conclusion that students can, what actions are allowed, what are not allowed. Okay, students don't have the privilege of doing that. Okay, so if I click on view exams as a teacher, it's then exam. We can add files. Okay, we can add rules, we can see view rules. Exam ID is one. Okay, so if I go as a student, I say exams view. Means if you go right here, it should have an exams column as well. The students, because they should see what exams are going on. That's how it all these things make sense. Okay, view marks, view syllabus, everything would, there would be an access onto this particular thing. Yeah, but right now, if I say exams view, means these users cannot view the exams. Like viewing the exams is not allowed to the students. So if I go on exams view, it should show me the exams if it's not working properly. So it says for what class you need to view exams. It's not showing me. See, it's not showing me. If I click on add rule, exams add rule. So total marks would be 100, pass marks would be 33. Marks distribution. If I click on, if I do like this, I need to see if I can, being a student, I can create a rule for an exam. It should work, I guess, because the developer, if he has not proper restrictions in mind, so this would be allowed. So generally my assumptions are right about a particular thing. Let's see if it throws unauthorized or not, because access and access control is something you should test every time. Okay, it shows forbidden. That means they can't really create anything. So if I click on this, I created a rule that on 33 a person would be passed, and for this particular thing this would be failed. Then if you go over here, you have view rules, that you can see what rules are there. You can edit it as well. You can edit those rules. No, every endpoint is different. I always say, guys, every endpoint is different. If you go right here, if the create endpoint is not working, try editing the rule endpoint. Sometime it works. Every endpoint is different. I'm not saying it would work 110%, but it works sometimes. So that's how we spotted one more bug, that students can edit exam rules. It's a high severity. So here's, we say bug 8, no, bug 9, where we say broken access leads to privilege escalation, allowing students to modify rules for exam, right? Log in as a student and then browse to this endpoint, and the endpoint is this. Change the exam ID, then click on view assignment. No, change the rules and click on save. See how endpoints are different, could lead to huge business logic, as students can set the marks to 1. Right. Then next bug, that's how we go hand in hand. I'm exploring functionalities, I'm doing like this. So view grade systems, how we can give grades. Now there's a bug where students can see the grades of another people, so that's already covered. We won't be covering that aspect of this particular thing right here. So if I go to my courses, I would just report these 10 and see how much of, there could be a lot of things which you can cover, guys, but I'm not going that much deep. So actions give marks. Now one thing which I want to see is that, can a student give marks to another student? That would be bad, na? So all you need to do is, you have this marks create class ID, section ID. Now all these things are pretty much waste. This course name is waste. All you need to do is, like, all you need is that, uh this, like, semester ID, course ID, and class ID. So this is what you need, where class ID is one, section ID is one, course ID is one, semester ID is one. If you click enter, this endpoint would redirect you to this particular same website. See, now if I send this to student, if it opens, it would be great. I think it would be opening, because okay, it didn't open due to some issues. I don't know what's that issue. If I just, like, there, it's not allowing, the student cookies are not allowing to see this particular thing. Anyways, we would find a way out of it. So I am okay. Here there's an properly HTML email injection working in. Open link in new tab. No, it's the exam name. Marks distribution note, it's just getting in blue just because of, to highlight that thing. So student 1 got 90 marks, 90, and student got 2 got 32. Okay, so if I click on save, marks store would be like this, response to this request. So there might be an option to edit this thing as well, so I just wanted to see that there might be a function to edit the marks as well. So marks, saving marks was successful. That's great. What if a person entered a wrong mark? she might try to change that marks. That's pretty common. So my course is sem1 and actions. So give marks, can we just give that marks again? We can go on changing and changing and changing, we can do that. So final mark submission should be done only once in a semester when the mark submission window is open. Okay, so if I use the entire endpoint, does it lead to here? But issue with that thing is that they would say how you get everything right. No, but it's not allowing. So great. If I see over here, I go to my courses as a student. I click on view marks. This is my marks. Okay, my marks is not visible. I guess due to because the that exam is not over yet. Due to that reason, it's not view final marks. Yeah, that's why it's not available. View exams, view grade systems. Let's click on this view grade systems. Yeah, the exam is not over yet. That's why it's behaving like this. If I go to this documentation, you can see when that user was present, when it wasn't present. Then a student can view their marks. Then there was some functionalities which got my attention at the very first stage of things. I'm just looking at it. That okay, we can create routine. It's an admin feature. Then we can create events, event name, create notice. Now this is interesting feature. If I go right here, I click on this, I go on notice. So first thing I need to try is that can a student create a notice? The bad thing which could happen on this is that if students are able to create notice, the notices would be pretty much great. Let's see this. So if I write hello, click on save. Ideally it should say unauthorized. It says unauthorized action. The teacher should not create notice. So the next thing you should do is check if teachers can create notice, because when the logic is being set at the back end, sometimes things got messed up. So you should try this as well. So hello, save. It should not allow, because if they have proper restriction for one person, they might have it for another as well. Yeah, forbidden. Okay, so the notice thing is available only with this particular person. So if I click on link, I have an option to insert tables, headings and stuff. So if I write over here hello, I'm inserting the link right here, which is of burp collaborator. I need to see how it perceives this. So http, I click on click on save post, create a response to this request. And let's see, creating notice was successful. How does this notice reaches another people? I need to see that, because notice is for all, regardless it's a student. So where does this notice reaches? It should be viewing in the home section somewhere, because notice is meant for that perspective. Yeah, the notice is right here where you can see hello. Great. No, I'm getting hold of things, but one thing got up my mind is that what if instead of notice I put this up, click on save. Would a image be loaded there? If yes, it would be an HTML email injection, and we might escalate it a bit. Notice was successfully created. If it's treated as a plain text, it would be hardly of any use to us. Okay, it's being treated as a plain text, so not of use much. Then if I go to this routine, let's see what. Okay, we can create a routine. Then syllabus, we had a look at syllabus already. Then event, create events. Okay, we can create an event on this date, and the event name would be 7 multiplied by 7, right? Now seeing this functionality, I think it might not be really safe. I don't know, sometimes I have an instance that okay, this is not safe. There's no solid reason of me thinking why it's not safe, but yeah, sometimes I think it's not safe. So I click on hello, I refresh it. Okay, it's not allowing me. So if I do like this, I need to capture this particular thing in order to see if it's working or not. So okay, takes a title, and at the back end it says internal server error. That means the creating event stuff is not working. Either the endpoint I'm giving is not working. Possibly two reasons for that. Okay, for everything it's throwing an internal server error. With that being said, guys, that's all for the hunt of this. All I need to do is now report it to CVE. So I say how to report CVE, right? So it would say that you can request the CV IDs. Now we have 9 bugs in line, so this is, we need 9 IDs. Yeah, I have already checked it. So first bug was incorrect access control. Please ensure vendors are on the product and sources list. Vendor of the product, so it's unified transform, if I spell it right, and it was 2.x version. It would be same for everything. So what you can do is 2.x vendor of the product. So ideally instead of this particular thing you should give something else, but yeah, I would just go fast first, and then at the end I would tell you that what exactly you need to do is in the vendor of the product. This is fine, But in the code bases, it's better giving a GitHub repository. Okay, so if you are right here, it's better giving GitHub repository so that they know that okay, this was the product they are talking about. So it's 2.x, and then 2.x, 2.x, and then 2.x. It's tiring to be very honest. 2.x. Okay, so let's start from here. I requested 9. Its first one was okay. So the first bug is right here. I wanted to see. Okay, it's for the first bug. So it was at the remote level. It escalation of privileges, affected components, attack vector is right here, where I say it's right here. Then the second bug was again for incorrect access controls. It was remote escalation of privileges. Affected components was right here. Attack vector was this. Then there was discoverer, then the credits, Arman Sedana. Then the third thing was another incorrect access control. It was again remote, leading to escalation of privileges. Then in the infected components, what I can do is in the affected components of every line, I can add this prior. All right, so this is a little easy now. So we created for two. Now this is the third one. Bug 3. Bug 3. Arman Sedana. Then this is improper access control again in the remote. Escalation of privileges. Attack vector was this. Arman Sedana. Right. Then improper access control. It was remote. Escalation of privileges. It's 5 5 5. It's Arman Sedana. Then the sixth one is again access control, a remote escalation of privileges, attack vector. Arman Sedana. And the seventh one, stored accesses. So a remote vulnerability type, it was XSS. Code execution, attack vector. And then eighth, then a remote escalation of privileges. Then the ninth bug is this. TPNKN. Now I need to check a few things. That whether my mail ID is correct, sedanarman2003@gmail.com. Now where I write Arman Sedana, whether I filled it correctly or not. There are 9 submissions, so there are 9 outputs. That's fine. Submit request. Thank you. You will be receiving a confirmation shortly. If you need to reach out, this please respond to the confirmation in email and do not change the subject line. Your ticket number will be included in the mail. How we will track your request. Thanks and see you in the next one, guys.